Hello, I'm Peggy of Who News. This is a new channel. Today is September 4, 2022. And we started this channel so we could share information and potential truths of things that we didn't know before. Information that we thought we knew through our history, through our news outlets, our education, but we really didn't know the whole truth, or we didn't know the truth at all. So that's what this channel is about, and I hope you're going to like it. This first video that we're posting is about the radionic ships of the heavenly host. This is a book here, book cover by a gentleman by the name of Delahanova Star Livingston of Uversa. And I did not know male or female. And it seems like it's either a person from India or some from a star system. So we'll see. Amazon mentioned that Mr. Delahanova star. So that's where I purchased these books. So this book is talking about the radionic fleets. This is the back cover, and it's about the radionic fleets that sit outside the orbit of Pluto. Many millions of them out there. They're called radionic because they are magnetic without poles. And thousands of these ships, radionic ships, project into the Earth's fifth dimension at any given time. And they're visible only as magnetic cloud reflections. You might see one at any time of these cloud reflections. This book here tells you how to identify the radionic clouds and what to look for, with nearly 650 unique radionic ship examples from around the world. Well, later on in the book, it speaks about 550 photographs. And then even later in the book, midway, it talks about 400 photos. So, but I must say, even if it's only 400, they're amazing. They are amazing. So it's just packed. This book is packed with these photographs and a good deal of explaining about what these ships are and how to identify them. And this is important, they say. I don't know whether this book is important or not. We'll find out, though. But this author is saying that because the Piscean age has ended astrologically and the age of Aquarius is upon us, then the great book is being opened at last. And so the greater mysteries of the cosmos are at long last becoming revealed, and that we're going to have to learn this information in order for us to go into. Well, we may not need to learn about the radionic ships of the heavenly host, but we will need to learn the laws for where we're going. And so Christians believe that it is rapture and they're going into heaven. And these books say, there's more than one book here, I'll explain in a minute. These books say that where we're going is into the fifth dimension, and we're going to be, it's galactic law. We hardly know solar law, they say. It's galactic law we're going to need to know, and that's part of what these books will reveal. Galactic law of an understanding, so we know how to operate properly in different circumstances at a higher dimension. So that's what they say the importance is. Well, that intrigued me. And especially then I looked at Amazon, and sure enough, Amazon has has these books. And a review by a reader it is posted here. Amazon posted this, what a reader wrote, because it's amazing. It truly is. And he's saying it's a wonderful book for visionaries, and it's a book that beautifully illustrates the truth about the radionic ships and how close they are. And again, he's saying it's the truth about radionic ships. And I hope so. I think it might be true, but I don't know if it's true. We'll have to have more experience with this. And And the author has said that these ships have been hiding in plain sight for thousands of years, but they have not revealed themselves. This is the great reveal. So please read, take the time to stop the video and read this page further, and anything else in this that you would like to stop and read. And because the author is saying that this is a universal disclosure of the radionic ships of the heavenly host. And for decades we've been waiting for concrete proof that beings from other worlds exist. And the proof we have been waiting for is now before us. Well, okay, if that's true, we'll find out. And here, now take a look at that picture. So what the author has talked about is that these ships are have come here from all over creation, and millions of them are parked out in close to Pluto or around Pluto, millions of them out there. But thousands of them are consistently around our Earth because they're here to help us. They're here to help us ascend if you're spiritual, and they are here for us to be raptured up into heaven if you're Christian. And so, yeah, that's what the importance of these books. And it is important for us to look at these skies. It truly is uplifting to see the beauty of these and to stand on this earth and see the beauty of these pictures, or to the beauty of what they actually look like in the skies. So that's why I'm doing the video. So to alert people, look at the skies and look, and they're not chemtrails. Yes, there are chemtrails up there, but this book is discerning differences between the two things. So because these ships are magnetic, they don't have any poles, and they're called radionic because their magnetic field radiates out like the rays of the sun or like the spokes of a bicycle. But the ships are in the fifth dimension and we cannot see them. But their magnetic field is affecting our atmosphere, and it affects it in a way that it condenses or draws drops of water in the air, water molecules in the air, and creates clouds out of them. And those clouds align themselves with the magnetic radionic lines of the ships that we cannot see because they're in fifth dimension. So the ships are from a vast fleet of millions upon millions of fifth dimensional radionic ships of light sitting outside the orbit of Pluto. And they're here as volunteers to help us ascend, to help us with the rapture. And they have helped. The book mentions that since 2015, the ships have been here and showing themselves that they're here more, quite predominantly. And I want to skip here. I want to skip over this here. This is about the other books that are here. Let's just skip here to those for people that are Bible literate. You will recall the verses. We who are alive will be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air. 1 Thessalonians 4:17. Likewise, behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him. This is from Revelations 1:7. Likewise, a cloud led Moses and his people through the desert by day. Exodus 13:21 through 22. So we have been observing these ships for thousands of years, but we haven't understood what we've been seeing. It's the same today when we look at the clouds overhead, but we don't see them. Until then, we hear about chemtrails, and now suddenly everything we see in the sky is a chemtrail. Well, I resemble that remark because I saw these creations of these clouds in the sky, and they didn't look like chemtrails, but I thought, okay, well, the air, the wind at different levels as you go up is swooshing the chemtrails away, and it's creating all these things. It's just wind up there that's creating, well, apparently not. Apparently not. So, but we'll see in these photographs coming up soon. So there's 3 books in this series. The first one is called Intelligent Design of Creation by this author, Della Hanova Starr Livingston. So this is 238 pages. It's $50. I do not have this book yet. I do have the second book, which is called The Revelatorium of Alpha and Omega. And this is $50, and it's 222 pages. And this is a textbook. Oof, Revelatorium of Alpha and Omega. And this is okay here we're saying the great book is opened at last. For the next 2,000 years through the age of Aquarius, the great truths of the cosmos will be lowering into your outer consciousness, known as illuminations. And at the end of Aquarius, you will be ready to return to the 5th dimension where you belong. Again, I don't know if this information is correct, it's truthful, I don't know. But it's intriguing to me. Very, very intriguing. And so we will find out. And so here we are, what, 2,000? 2,000, we're going to be returning to the 5th dimension where we belong. They say that this is Eden. 5th dimension is Eden, where we fell from. It's going to take us 2,000 years to get there. Well, that's news. But okay, so now this book is The Radionnic Ships of the Heavenly Host. And this is what we're talking about today. It's 435 pages, and it's $75 at Amazon. Oh yes, so disclosure, I am only 1/3 of the way through the Revelatorium, and as I mentioned, that's a really tough book. It's the 222 pages, and it is tough to read. Some paragraphs are 1 sentence long, and by the time you get to the end of the paragraph, it's confusing. It's in English, but it's a different language, so to speak, and it takes a while to digest it, to understand it. And some things you can understand right away. Some things you can have queries about and think about. But the author has recommended that this Revelatorium, which this is the second book right here. And the second book, you read it, and then you reread it, and then you reread it. So that's, which I intend to do. But I've not read further so in this Radionnic with the pictures, I have skimmed through a number of photos, and I've read a couple of the chapters, but I haven't read further than that, so I don't know the twists and turns that this whole series of 3 might take. But so far, it's making sense to me, and I don't know where the truth lies, but I'm open-minded, and I'm happy to just hold information outside of me as I consider it for minutes, months, years, decades, whatever. Okay, so let's see, was there something here? Hope I've covered that. Okay, we covered this, and this was you can stop the video and you can reread all of this if you prefer. That's why I put it all in, but I don't want to cover this. I wanted this to be a shorter video. Okay. Oh, now here's one thing. Yeah. Whoops. Okay. So this picture is a radionic ship field. Now they say field because these ships are in the 5th dimension. We cannot see them, but their magnetic field is causing our atmosphere to condense drops of moisture and to create clouds, which follow the magnetic lines of the radionic ship in the 5th dimension. So that's what these are here. And this is a chemtrail that's coming down from the left here. And so a chemtrail, they say this is completely different. This is what I used to look at and think, oh my gosh, the wind just has somehow taken a chemtrail and it's splayed it all out like that. Because I've been following up or looking at chemtrails and reading about them for, a decade or so. But they pointed out that a chemtrail is one that comes down, is laid out, and then it starts to spread out widthwise. And the width of the chemtrail is equidistant all the way down the line. And you know that's true, because it'll either spread out, the more you watch it, it'll spread out until you can't even see that it had a line in the first place, because it'll mesh with other chemtrails. But that's not at all what we see here. This is consistently a straight line or a curved line or a different kind of line, whatever line the plane that's distributing the chemtrails has flown in, what flight path it's taken. But here, this is quite different. And this author, I was curious, why did I mention he might be from India? What difference does that make? Because, well, that's a different country, different culture. And how well do they know our English language and our humor? How much do they know about our history? And so we have jokes based on things, on statements we've made and situations that we've read. And so we have inside jokes that maybe someone from India wouldn't know. Well, it turns out he might be from Canada. I don't know, but he could be a gentleman that lives in Canada. But the point is, he's got a great sense of humor. He's a riot in a number of these comments he makes during the paragraphs, during the written content, some of the taglines he gives for the photos here. And so here we see this excuse me, not the chemtrail, but the radionic field. And then there's an X here. And we think, well, is that part of a chemtrail? You know, could be, because it's all equidistant, those little lines there. Apparently, it might be set up by the radionic ship, because he has tagged this photo with we sign our checks with an X, but they cash them just the same. So I don't know if other star systems or planets have checks, and whether anybody signs them with a check if they don't sign with their signature. So for John Hancock. But anyway, let's continue here. This is figure 23, and this is a mothership field that was photographed showing these wild features. So look at these curves, look at these. It's very creative, isn't it? And so they're mentioning that the top part of this photograph is substantially magnified compared to the bottom part, because the wispy part up here was closer to the person taking the picture than the bottom part of the field. The bottom part of this field was further down this road. We can't see all of this road, but that's a road right there. So let's continue. Almost perfect tendrils of a mothership field. And so, yeah, mothership, there's mothership and fatherships, and it's hard for me to tell yet the difference between the two, but they say, and then reading these books and studying these, not just these photos, but our skies, because they're everywhere, all over the place, all over the world. And we will be able, we can, if we want to, we'll be able to identify whether that's a mothership or a fathership. And so since, why that matters, well, we can find out. So here's another very different photograph. This one is partially covered by a cloud. It's a mothership taken on March 17 between Hamilton and Brandon in Ontario, Canada. So a lot of these photos have been taken from Canada and submitted by people that have around the country, around Canada, that have photographed them. The author states that there's a lot of internet photos here as well. And there's also photos from all over the world that other people have taken too, with their cell phones and whatnot. So some of the photos may be more professional and some of them are not. But he's really picked out some beautiful, beautiful pictures, which sure give us an idea of what this is about. So here's a little humor. So often he's taking these little captions here, these little taglines with the photographs, as if it's the people that are doing these, that are in the ships, that these are comments from the beings on the ship. So here it was. It took us a while to set this up. Hope you appreciate it. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. So here is a father ship, condensation from it, sitting partially cloud covered. So I look at this and I'm not sure where perhaps that's the cloud that's covering it up, partially cloud covered down here. Yeah, but we still see a lot. And the father ship can have some different radionics to it, but they are often fingers that go out and up like this, more straight up. But not always. It can be different. So here's both a father ship and a mother ship with their fields that sit side by side in a negative polarity radionic field. Some of the ships are negative and some of the ships are positive. So negative electrically and positive electrically, because they don't have poles. So it's not about the magnetism of poles, having poles, because most of these ships don't have poles, they say. This is a mothership field and a fathership field together, whose pressure has opened a hole in the cloud. And I guess that's the hole right there. And they are sitting, let's see, the mothership is on the top left side, and the top left side of the cloud hole, and her field lines extend out vertically into the cloud, both above and below the hole. So above and below. Well, that's good. This looks like her radionics over here to me. And the fathership is covered by the gray cloud patch in the middle, but again, its frills can be seen spreading out above and below the hole. Okay, so that must be the father field, and this is the mother field. It's just amazing, isn't it? Okay, so now we come to the last page here, and this is a mothership field and a fathership field together, whose pressure has opened a hole in the cloud. And that looks like the hole. I've been confused. I don't know for sure, but that looks like that could be the hole. And unless it is a cloud cover that is matching the shape of one of the ships. So anyway, the mothership is on the top left side of the cloud, with its field lines extending out vertically into the cloud cover above and below the hole. And the father is covered by a gray cloud patch in the middle, but its frills can be seen spreading out above and below the hole as well. All right, so it's confusing. I don't see the gray, a gray cloud patch here, but it's beautiful, isn't it? Quite amazing. Okay, so this is it. I thank you for your attention and thank you for your interest if you were interested. And we'll be doing some more videos and on other interesting topics, some more down to earth, most of them more down to earth, and about our history. Yeah, about our history that we were taught, but actually may not actually have turned out to be the history that actually happened. So thank you for your interest, and God bless, and we'll see you again.